Hi, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. I've actually had this video recorded for a couple months and I just was not able to record the voiceover. I had back-to-back colds and then my day job, super busy, but I really want to get back into posting content, Bujo videos, all that good stuff. And I'm sorry if you hear background noise between my washer dryer and my ceiling fan. It's pretty warm where I am now in California, so I just cannot sit without a fan. And I'm obviously recording at home, of course, so people be doing chores. Anyway, let's get into the video. So in this video, I'm actually going to be setting up my work bullet journal. And you'll see that I showed a few journals right here. These are some of the different work journals I've used throughout the year. I had bought a bunch of Denic notebooks a couple years ago, so I pretty much used them until I was done. They were dot grid flat laid journals. And then this first one with this brown soft cover is from Ivory Bullet Journals. You can see some swatch testing I did in there. This is actually a brand in Pakistan. My dad had gone to Pakistan a couple years ago, visiting family, and I had happened to just discover this brand. So I asked him to buy me one just to see, and I actually really liked it. It's really good quality. And then you'll see I, of course, have an Archer and Olive notebook. Love the little coffee design on it. Another dot grid. Another Archer and Olive flamingo themed. You can see that I used most of it, but I didn't actually finish it. But I knew I wouldn't have enough to go into the next year. And then for my new journal in 2024, I purchased this Ottergami A5 notebook. It's a hardcover with vegan leather. It has 192 premium pages, 150 GSM dotted grid paper, and it has a little pocket. So pretty much like a lot of other brands. I like the inside cover little design. You'll see it looks like dot grids. This measurement also matches the Archer and Olive dot grids, so that was nice. I could easily use my usual measurements in this journal. And this one's a little more affordable and more accessible because it is on Amazon. I wasn't really sure what journal I wanted to use. I didn't want to use one of the ones I had for work. While I definitely use this journal every day, I don't care too much if it's super cute, but I wanted it to still be nice. So I just settled on this plain navy blue color. And then the first thing that I set up, which I've done in my other videos, you can see my 2024 bullet journal setup, is my spacing or grid guide. You'll see this time I made it smaller so it actually fits in the pocket compared to the one in my personal bullet journal. And then I can keep that in the back cover in the little pocket, which is perfect because then I can just take it in and out whenever I need to use it and measure. So let's get more into the actual setup. For this first page, I always end up gluing it down because it's awkward, it's weird, I don't like it. And then you'll see my little post-its noting which spread is going to be on which page. This really helps me keep track because otherwise sometimes I'll skip a page by accident and then I have to glue that page and just waste. So I'm going to take my glue tape here from Tombow and glue this page together. And for this first page, I wanted it to be a year at a glance. I purchased this from Etsy. It's like a couple dollars digital download. And this is my color palette. So I wanted to do blues, maroon, and brown as my neutral. More like tan. And so I took a zebra midliner in pink, since pink was close to maroon, and it's what I had. I highlighted my company holidays for when I would be off. So like Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. I just wanted this quick at a glance so I could see it, especially for holidays because I always end up double, triple checking on my calendar. And then I took out my alphabet stamps, and that's what I'm going to be using for all my headers. I didn't really feel like writing anything out or printing it out, so I just stuck with my stamps, and it kind of works because it looks more professional and typewritery. You can also see I have an assortment of different kind of work-related stickers that I'll be using here, as well as different washi tapes. I wasn't sure what to do really on the bottom, but it looked blank, so I just put in my color palette. I feel like when I don't know what to do, that's usually what I end up putting in circles. It looks nice. It looks like it's kind of intentional. And then I had some leftover space, so I just added a gray because I often use light gray on any spread. It's just a nice, very light, neutral color. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but someone's like is doing donuts in my neighborhood. And I can hear the car screeching. But anyway, I decided to do something a little different here. This is my first time doing this, was taking one of my Tombow markers and using that as for colored ink because I only have a black ink pad, and sometimes you just want other colors. I think I saw Aaron Smith doing this first, and it's really smart. Like, you can just use a variety of colors, and then these will also wash off easily. They're also water-based, so I'm not really ruining my stamps. And that was it for the cover page. I'm keeping these pretty simple because mostly they'll be used for work. And there's gonna be a lot of words, so I don't want to decorate it too much, but I didn't want it to look bare. So this next spread is my future log, which I'm pretty much going to use like any other traditional future log to write down important dates in advance for the year. Oftentimes just with my work, so I work in content strategy in tech, and I often know deadlines for some big projects way in advance, which is helpful. So I know those certain weeks are going to be busy, or I have another project that I planned that I know I'm going to be working on for like a quarter or two, so I can put some of those dates in early and can kind of see like what my month will look like or what my fall or my quarter will look like. And I work in corporate tech, so I think in quarters now. And then this next page is called 2024 Highlights. If you work like a corporate office job, a lot of times you're thinking about like promotions, maybe changing roles in your company depending on how big it is. And a lot of that you have to like keep track of for your performance reports. So that's what this highlights page is for. It's to highlight some big projects that I worked on throughout that month, anything notable to keep track of. I do also keep track on my work laptop in Google Docs, but I also wanted to write it down because it'll be helpful like down the line. A lot of times when I've done interviews, I refer to past events or highlights from previous roles, and you'll be surprised, you'll start to forget things. So I think it's just really helpful to have that little record for yourself without having to have the actual project in hand, because again, a lot of this stuff's company property, and this is also why I do not show my work journal at all. Outside of this setup, you won't see this again. I won't do a flip through again because it contains personal information and company information. So just stuff I would not want out on the internet. And also it's pretty boring. It's just like my daily to-do list, honestly. So it's not that exciting. And then I had a lot of like academia, bookish stickers, so I had a really good opportunity to use them all here, which I was very excited about. So on one page will be my expectations. This is what my performance review is based on. And then the other side is responsibilities, because my role has slightly changed from when I started about 2 years ago. And we were kind of redefining what our team does because we merged with another team. So I wanted to kind of note that just so I know for reference. These are like my core responsibilities outside of like projects that I've come up with or other things that arise. And now we'll get into the quarter spreads. You'll see that I was trying to use that maroon color to kind of highlight the words, and it was really dark, which I was afraid was going to happen. So I took my Archer and Olive Neapolitan notepad, took the craft paper, because I will say this is a very slightly different shade of white than the Archer and Olive white, so it's better to use a craft paper and then just re-stamped it in. As I mentioned earlier, I think in quarters, so these are my quarter spreads. And I also created similar headers for the other quarters just so it stayed consistent. This is where I'll note down the different tasks, goals, key results that I need to focus on for each quarter. It helps me stay on track so I remember like these are the main things that I'm supposed to hit in order to make sure I'm actually doing my job successfully. So when I first started bullet journaling in 2019 and into 2020, I actually had just one personal journal, and I would put my work stuff in there too because I used to take it with me back and forth when I was in the office. And then eventually, because I started posting pictures and stuff of my journal online, even though I usually do it before the pen, I just still didn't want any of that out there. So I decided to separate it, and it was actually better because I'm always someone who writes stuff on like random post-it notes. So I can just keep everything condensed in the journal. And those quarter spreads will be filled in with my OKRs. So if you worked in corporate, OKRs are like your objectives, the O, and then that's like the big goal, and then KR is key results, and those are the tasks that you're going to complete to achieve that goal. It's like a nice checklist that you can hold yourself accountable to get things done. And now we're moving on to the monthly spread. It's really minimal. It's just highlights of that month, just to keep track of projects, tasks, anything unexpected that came up, challenges, just put it all in there. I guess it's not a highlight. I guess challenges that aren't a highlight, they're a low light, but whatever. And then I'm putting a calendar on the right side. You'll notice that there's only 5 boxes because I'm only doing Monday through Friday because I don't work on the weekends, and I don't ideally try not to work more than 40 hours. I mostly do not. I have pretty good about my work-life balance, especially since I started working from home at the beginning of 2020, and now I am a remote employee. So I do work from home, but it's not like I'm self-employed or like a lot of other people who share their work days on the internet. I have a pretty structured day. It's still 9 to 5. I have meetings. I generally take my lunch around the same time. It also helps to have that consistent routine, which I found really helpful at the beginning when I was first learning how to work from home. Then I just added a few more washi tapes, and for January I decided to go with blue because it's winter. It's not like it snows in California, at least like where I live. Like in the mountains it does. It actually snowed a lot. And then I brought back those circles because it's just a really easy decorative thing you can add. And then I took my navy blue Tombow and used that for the ink to stamp out January. And that's it, and then I'll fill in things for the month, like a big deadline, PTO, holidays, I might have an appointment or something, just stuff to like keep in mind, project milestones. Since a lot of my projects have like multiple phases and pieces to it. And you'll see that I'm going in with pink because I actually started using this journal before I set all of the other pages up. So my January spreads have already been created, so I'm actually jumping in to February. So you'll see this is how long ago I made this video. These are my weekly spreads, mostly to keep track of all of my to-dos, keeping track of open tasks carried over from the previous week, what specifically I want to hit this week, what things related to my goals do I want to hit this week, and same with like project milestones. So like I mentioned, I'm a content strategist, so it involves a lot of writing, drafting, editing, and I do a large volume of that, so just to make sure I stay on track with all of my different projects. And then you'll see I also have the rest of the days for Monday through Friday. This also divides the page up really nicely into 6, and I'm using this days of the week washi tape from Tofty. It just looks nicer, it makes things look more uniform, and that's pretty much it. This is my work bujo setup. I really like how it turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe for more. I'm planning to try to post every week or at least every 2 weeks with more bujo content. I have a bunch of stuff I want to share, especially since we're already halfway through the year. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.